Didn't expect that. Well, hey, I'm a coach, so we're crazy creatures. So I'm really proud of the guys. They came out, tremendous effort, and they played with effort and fire and great intelligence, and it's one of those deals. We talk about going 1 for 1. You get one opportunity to do something, and you don't want to go 0 for 1. And these guys are going 1 for 1, and it's whether that's possession by possession or assignment by assignment or game by game. So I'm incredibly proud of them.
Julius was just saying he was referring to Illinois, but he said that tomorrow's practice you'll first mention the defensive game plan for the next opponent. Is that what you put in first?
It's you know what I tell our guys, let's not be rigid, and let's put our heads together and what's going to win us the next ball game. That's where we start. So. Everyone. So it could be an offense thing first, could be a defense thing first, could be special teams first, could be traps. So I don't have like a regimented deal. I'm much more of a blank canvas type of guy, and then let's put our heads together and I think when you have a real regimented routine, I think it kind of wears on the guys and bores them a little bit over time. So I like to keep changing it up on them and keep them on their toes a little bit.
Seeing what they did with the ball screens, one of the first things that you were looking at with how they went under the ball screens?
Offensively, yeah. They show that they do that, and other teams have done that to this year. So, I just always think that's a pretty brave thing to do when you're playing in somebody else's gym, to go under ball screens, and I thought our guys did a great job of shooting the right ones, and they're Darren Dalen on a couple of them, and he drove down there and still got a lay-in, or Ben drove it. Could have shot it, took his time, got Zoo lay-ins, or hit him on the roll. So they're just real mature decisions.
What do you tell a team at halftime when you're up like 20-something points, just to get them to continue to be motivated?
Do it again. That's simple. We got a game plan. Let's go out and execute it. And we let our guard down there a little bit, and they hit some shots, and they made a few adjustments. Nothing crazy. They made some adjustments in the second half I thought they would do earlier. And, they had a little bit of success with it. But at that point, my ultimate goal is to win the game. So I'm just managing the game and making sure, that they don't make too big of a run at us and we keep a healthy cushion.
How much of a point of emphasis was rebounding leading up to this game? Because you guys had 42 rebounds and 22nd chance points.
Every day. If you don't rebound, you don't win. It's that easy. So it's a point of emphasis every day. It's a priority in every game plan.
Was it especially the case tonight just to help you maintain the pace you want to play when you want to rebound?
And Bruce, to play fast, you have to rebound. You can't run if you don't have the ball. So it's an everyday thing. There's no and I was we worked on a few different scenarios today because they do a great job isolating good players, and we had success with our double team, so we were kind of able to ride that package tonight. But if you play in one-on-one, and then they have shooters spaced out, you're out attached to these shooters. You have a guy playing one-on-one, and then if you come to help a little bit down inside, they have another rebounder down there, so they kind of end up sometimes with a half-man advantage. So we kind of worked on some scenarios, trying to do that. But and a lot of it just comes down to will. Don't put too much of it on coaching. That's just guys that are hungry to go get the ball.
Is there anything enticing about thinking about playing in front of 15,000 people on Saturday?
There's nothing better except playing in McHale when it's full, of going on the road and kicking someone's ass. There's nothing better than that. And it's going to be a huge task. And we're not going in there cocky. We're not going in there arrogant. We're going in there knowing it's going to be a great challenge, and we're hopefully going to be up for it.
Do you anticipate having Kim available for that game?
I don't know. Kim, the easy statement you guys have heard, he's got a personal issue. I think we all need to respect his privacy right now. He's working through it. And, at some point, I'd love to have him back with us. And the sooner the better for me. But, again, it's a Kim Aiken personal issue that I really don't have, any influence on.
The rotation worked tonight with one shorter?
It's fine. You could do it with 8, and then I'm waiting. We got to get Adama and Shane brought along a little bit. Now we can play small lineup a little bit more. But you see these seasons are crazy. You get a twisted ankle here, a twisted ankle there, a guy's back sore. You're managing a lot. You don't get to go through a season in a vacuum. You know, you're going through a season with bumps and bruises and aches and pains, and you need a great training staff and you need tough guys. That's how you manage it.
That's how Justin played, came in and did a pretty good job.
I mean, Justin's a really good player, and Justin could probably be playing a few more minutes, and I love having him on our team, you know. It's just, you know, today, you know, I was planning on playing him more, and I love having him out there. It's just that first group was rolling. I mean, so when you have a group that's rolling, it's nothing against one of their subs. And at Oregon State, our first group struggled a little bit. We subbed, and those subs came in and picked us up. So it's a game-to-game thing. There's no, you know, sometimes a guy's minutes might not be what you want, but it might not be his fault. It might be his teammates are just playing great.
Dalen's versatility help what you want to do on defense?
Dalen's special, and I love everything about him, and he's got great spirit. You talk to him, he looks you in the eye. And he's really coming into his own as a player. I mean, the shot is coming along. It's going to be fine. I mean, he's not going to be Steve Kerr, you know, but he can do so many other things. He's valuable, and now he's learning how to play with that. I mean, in the second half, they weren't guarding him. He went and set a ball screen for Kerr. Well, if you do that, it peels Kerr's guy off. Dalen's guy's in the paint. Kerr gets an open three, makes it. I mean, that's great team basketball. So, and that was something we've never practiced. I just yelled at him to go set a ball screen. He looked at me like I was crazy. And so, you know, there's some things we're gonna have to develop with that smaller lineup. But now, you know, we'll do it. I mean, I think we could have a great small unit.
With Kerr and his jump shot, is that just a matter of time?
Yeah, I mean, and taking good shots. I mean, you can be aggressive, but you still got to be on balance. You know, you can't be shooting everyone 10 feet behind the line. I mean, like, you know, so just having that understanding. But I love Kerr, and I've told him I haven't complained any shots he's taken, you know, outwardly, and you know, I might be thinking something in my head. And he's come up and told me, like, well, you should have complained about these two. And I'm like, yeah, you're right, but, you know, I trust you.
Since you had a discussion with him a few weeks back, he's played tremendous.
He's awesome. He's playing really good. You know, just how he slowed down and passed the ball today. Like, you know, those were plays like in the Sacramento State game, he had 3 times he forced the ball in transition and turned it over in the first half. And I told Ben, there's nothing, it's not against the rules for you to push the ball, but you're so much better when you're out in front and you're on the receiving end of the play. And I think he had 1 charge on the left side in the first half today. You know, just learning things. But then that was his only turnover. And then he had some incredibly mature plays. And then just the offensive rebounding. I mean, it's like, it's a difference maker. It makes him, you go from an average player who your teammates have to serve to now he's serving the team and he's making plays on broken plays. And that's really, really hard to play against.
Well, he said too, off the ball has been some of his biggest adjustments.
Yeah, we've talked about him. I mean, he's a developing player, and sometimes, you know, people in the media or you know, this NBA mock draft world, you know, try to anoint these kids and move them along too fast. And Ben needs to develop at his own pace, and he looks pretty good to me right now. So I just think he needs to stay locked and loaded on what he's doing, and he's getting great results, and he's actually developing into a real basketball player, and that's so much fun to watch.
You must love how the IQ of this basketball team, given that they pass the ball well, play well together, having fun. Just can you talk about that real quick?
Well, I love high IQ basketball. I mean, and so we teach it every day. We always tell our guys, we're not worried about our plays. We're worried about teaching how to play. And I think the most beautiful thing we can do, I don't want credit for an ATO. You know, I want our guys making beautiful plays on their own. To me, that's the beauty of the game. And so that's what we try to work on and develop with concepts and repetition, and they're doing a great job, and they're buying in, and the cool thing is they become the owners of the process, and I just kind of help them, and I think that's what we're developing right now.
Doesn't sound like from what you said about Kim, but like because of the day and age we're in, I mean, can you say, was it COVID related
Nope.
at all, or it was not?
No, I can't say what I mean. He's got a personal issues, and that's what's going on right now.
Choice not to
Bruce.
play, or yours?
I just said he has personal issues. You need to respect his deal. He's, you know, I mean, it's one of those deals.
What's so the 2 guys that left the floor, Kerr and Pella, that came back, seen any problems there?
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I mean, you know, you're always worried the next day. You know, you're always worried. But you know, Justin seems to have a magic touch with that stuff. So, you know, I mean, hey, you know, you tape it up and you play. I mean, and if you can, and not cause further injury, and you know, Justin's great at that, so I'm trusting him.
Were they both ankles, or? I think
It looked like it to me. I mean, I never asked. I just asked if they could play. That's all I wanted to know.
Hell, if that left side was the same one that he broke?
Yeah, I mean, I can't remember if he broke his left or his right.
Your Gonzaga teams ever played Illinois?
Yeah. 0-2, I think. So, yeah, I mean, a great place to play. You know, it's got a McHale feel to it, and, you know, I'm sure they're going to bring it. And you know what? I mean, that's great. I mean, that's the type of games we want to be involved in. And, you know, we're going to go there with our heads high, and we're going to go there with a game plan to compete, and we're going to let it rip.
Is there a point when you'll stop saying, I didn't expect this?
I don't know. Let's find out Saturday. So, yeah, I mean, you know, hey, I respect Coach Linder a bunch. I mean, he's really a good friend of mine. And he told me before the game, we're never doing this again. And he's got a great basketball mind, and you know, and I knew he was going to have some tricks up his sleeve. But, you know, I mean, what's the old adage? I mean, everybody's got a plan till you get punched in the nose. And then when your eyes are watering, let's see if you can execute your plan. And that's what our guys were able to do tonight.
I know it's early in the season, but is there a defense you guys haven't seen yet against you?
I mean, we've seen a lot. You know, we've seen a lot. And, you know, I mean, I would have to think on that. I mean, maybe a possession here or there. You know, we've seen a 1-3-1, a 1-2-2 zone, a 2-3 zone. You know, I mean, you know, sagging man, pressure man, ice ball screens. We've seen a lot, but you know what? That's the fun thing. I mean, what's really cool, that's part of game planning. So, like, when we lock into how we think we're going to be guarded, we work on concepts to play against that. I'm always talking about our guys. How do we want to attack space? How do we want to attack coverage? Space and coverage, and then we drill scenarios. You know, if they're doing this and this, how do we attack it? And so, and then we drill it, and then I think that really helps our guys form IQ. So then they have a toolbox and a plan when different things come up.
That Illinois matchup again, I know it's still far away maybe from tonight, but any early thoughts you have, just with the success you've had up front and rebounding with your bigs, they also do really well in those areas.
I mean, you know, I know Brad. He's a guy that, you know, oozes toughness, you know, so it's going to be a physical battle. They have, you know, a player that basically is the Shaq of college basketball, and then they surround him with shooters. And then, you know, he's always had great, you know, rebounding teams. I mean, they pound the offensive glass, so it's going to be a war. I mean, there's just no other way to, and it's probably not going to feel good the whole time, but hopefully we're up for the fight.
All right. Thanks, Coach.
All right, guys, have a good one.